Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime. Mark, 30 seconds until airtime. Once again, stations, if you encounter technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio Hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Go Ducks, happy Wednesday. Welcome inside the Country Financial Studio. Jordan Brenner here hosting Duck Insider for the rest of the week, getting you ready for kickoff on Saturday, getting you ready for game day on Saturday, which starts pretty early. We'll see you on the quad at 6 a.m. sharp. Dress warm, bring some coffee, wear a toga. The Duck will be wearing a toga. I'll be wearing a toga. I don't know if I should be saying that, actually. That might discourage people from showing up to the quad on Saturday. I'll be fully clothed. How about that? But we'll see you 6 a.m. on Saturday for college game day. Coach Lanning will be there. He'll be a part of the show as well. And, well, he's going to be looking out for the best signs, Coach Lanning, with another incentive to go to game day this Saturday.
Hey, Duck fans, game day is headed to Eugene this Saturday, and we need the whole community on the quad to represent Oregon loud and proud. Bring your signs, because I'll be hand-delivering 2 of my personal game day tickets to the individual with the best game day sign. Get creative, be respectful, and we'll see you on Saturday. Go Ducks.
It's awesome. Really cool. Can't wait for Saturday, a kick early on in the afternoon. I was just saying this to somebody earlier today. I think it's better when you have an early afternoon kick after game day. There's more momentum to that. You go right from game day to the game. There's not that big lull in the middle of the day. So I'm expecting a juiced house on Autzen Stadium. And then after the game, after hopefully a win, then maybe you can recover and get some Z's after that. Pretty cool deal yesterday, an announcement about the offensive line on the midseason honor roll for the Joe Moore Award. That recognizes college football's most outstanding offensive line. And boy, they have been just that good this year. The offensive line has only given up 1 sack all season long. That is a really cool statistic, and well, I think it's a perfect transition as we start to talk about some of the keys to Saturday's game. The trenches going to be huge. This is a battle between the 2 top rushing teams in the Pac-12. It's going to be a key for the Ducks on offense to run the ball behind that offensive line, but on the other side, the trenches are going to be huge as well. Because here's one of the big discrepancies, and, well, it's not particularly a good one for the Ducks. Third down defense has been one of the few issues for Oregon this year. Meanwhile, UCLA leads the conference in converting third downs. Part of the reason, well, their quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he leads not just the Pac-12, but the country in completion percentage. So early on in first down, second down situations, he's getting UCLA into 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s. That's part of the reason why they convert third downs at such a high clip. So can Oregon stop the run against both Zach Charbonnet and Dorian Thompson-Robinson in early downs? That'll help them get off the field on third down. That's enough for me, though. Coach Lanning talked about some similar things in his press conference today. previewed Saturday's game day and ball game with the Bruins. Here's the head coach of the Ducks, Dan Lanning.
Hope you guys are as excited as I am about this environment. We got our 2 tickets we're giving away here for signs. I'm expecting some people in this group to be holding their signs up. Should be a lot of fun. We had our third down red area day. Practiced inside today because of the smoke. But it was good. It allowed us to get a little bit better crowd noise for some of our defensive stuff. It's hard to, when our stadium is as crazy as it can be, right? It's hard to communicate on that side of the ball when you're out there. So creating that environment right now for our players is really, really important. But plenty to clean up. Excited about the direction we're headed. Excited to play a good team.
It's dry now, but the forecast looked like it might be wet on Saturday. Have you guys done anything to prepare?
Yeah, we prepped for that. We're prepared for that. We'll see how it plays out. You know, we don't control the weather, but we're prepared for it.
What do you do to prepare for that?
Just a lot of things. I mean, wet ball drills, right? You're going to spray the ball with water a lot. You know, we practice that. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. Obviously, you game plan for it.
TJ Bass has earned 2 weeks in a row. What's the qualities that made him stand out among all the others, and has he improved significantly from the beginning of the season?
I think really on the entire front, those guys have performed at a really high level. I know TJ's got some recognition, but I think he'd be the first one to tell you that that's credit to not just him. It's credit to the backs. It's credit to that whole position group doing a good job. You know, he plays with a physical dominance. He's a elite competitor, and I think he's done a good job finishing on the edge.
As far as outside noise goes, this is probably the biggest game you guys have had since the Georgia game. What do you guys think you learned during that process, preparing for that game, that's kind of helped you better prepare for this game?
Yeah, you know, again, play the game, not the moment, and I think our guys are more dialed in that. Really not concerned about all the other pieces.
How does the actual requirement to be on air Saturday morning, I think at 6:30 in the morning or something, how does that actually change your game day morning?
Not a ton. Yeah, no, not a ton. I mean, we have a staff meeting that morning, but that doesn't affect us that much.
You're clearly exploring a lot of options at punter. Does somebody have the edge right now going into the weekend?
We're going to continue to compete. Yeah.
What's your sense of the UCLA secondary, I guess? What are their strengths and weaknesses?
You know, they've done a good job. I think they play really good defense. They're sound. You can tell they're well coached. They play a variety of coverages. You know, they're going to play a little bit more zone than some of the teams that we've played, which means they have good vision break on the ball. And usually when you play more zone, it's going to create more opportunities for interceptions. There's also holes in that zone, but they're really well coached, and that shows up.
It's going to be the last time you play UCLA, at least on an on-campus deal, and the big picture, probably for quite a long time. And obviously LA is pretty important in the recruiting realm. I know you guys got recruits from Southern California coming in this weekend. What does Los Angeles mean in the bigger picture for recruiting, for talent acquisition? Yeah,
we're always going to recruit the best, and there's a lot of great players in the LA area, California area. We're always going to make sure that we're recruiting them.
You've had a lot of time to prepare for this game with the bye week. If you could pick one thing on offense and one thing on defense that you're really focused on these next 2 days to help prepare you for Saturday, what would those things be?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, ultimately on defense, we really want to stand out on third down and do a better job there on third down. I think that's important for us. This will be a tough, challenging game because they're one of the best in the nation at it. You know, offensively, I think, you know, being able to handle, we've had a lot of pre-snap penalties that we want to avoid. You know, being able to do a better job there on that end and then finishing in the red area, I think is really big.
How important is it today? You talked about how the energy was definitely up at practice, and the energy is, like you said, we have to keep ourselves level-headed, not allow those slip-ups at practice. How do you go about managing their energy and just although it is an exciting game, just keeping your players level-headed?
Yeah, I mean, these are games that doesn't take a lot of pep talks, right? Guys are excited. We all recognize the moment here. Guys want to play at a high level, but it's also keeping that energy directed, right? And that's what it's about is one play focus.
How important is it to make big plays first and second down defense like we were talking about for third? Because they're pretty good at converting third down. It's probably a lot easier 3rd and 3 than 3rd and 9.
That's the big thing you'll notice when you watch them play is they're not playing a lot of 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 8s. They're 3rd and medium or 3rd and short because of the way they play. And it's exactly what you said. It's about winning first and second down to create those opportunities.
What have you seen from DTR that makes him so effective on first downs? I'm forgetting the numbers, but his stats have been really good on first downs this year.
Yeah, high percentage passes. I mean, he's completing the ball well. And then when they run the ball, obviously he's a threat to run it. So when you don't turn it over, that's a big piece. And they've done a good job in that category, especially since early in the season. They've really been better and better as the season's gone on.
How would you assess your coverage so far just in games this season at the midway point?
Oh, good at times, bad at times. I think we can be improved. So we got to get better there.
That's Dan Lanning talking with the media on a Wednesday morning, getting you ready for Saturday's contest with UCLA. That's what the rest of the day is going to be on the Oregon Sports Network. Up next, editor of GoDucks.com, Rob Moseley, going to help us preview that matchup. Don't forget about the coaches show tonight. Dan Lanning in the studio. Also, Camden Lewis, a well-spoken kicker. Much more coming. It's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Jordan Brenner here hosting Duck Insider, brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Can we go back to the shot? I want to shout out Alex Stimson for a second. So he has been updating minute by minute. Why aren't you updating the seconds, Alex? I guess you're not on a microphone and you can't really defend yourself. That's well done. That's not in the job description. But, yeah, we're counting down to kickoff. Rob Moseley, editor of GoDucks.com, should join us any second now. You know, I was thinking just how much NFL talent could be on the field on Saturday both ways. Thinking about this, I know USC gets a lot of credit, but these two teams, Oregon and UCLA, could have the best skill positions in the entire conference. And it just struck me how much NFL talent is on the field on Saturday and how much NFL talent has been having success for the Ducks here recently. Guys like Kayvon Thibodeau with a game-sealing sack on Lamar Jackson this past weekend. Starting to see Justin Herbert gain that top form once again. Marcus Mariota, another big win as well. You know what? Let's do this. While we wait for Rob Moseley to join us, let's hit an interview. Bennett Williams had some good things to say yesterday, defensive back for the Ducks. He's been moving around the field. In fact, there were some snaps last game where he lined up in one-on-one coverage on the outside, kind of like a corner would. He talked about that and more in his interview. Here's Bennett Williams.
What was it like to have a couple days away and then to get back together and start grinding again?
It's nice. Obviously, good to watch some good football on TV. Not have to worry about playing. Still got after it last week in practice. Felt like we did pretty good. Just that getting your body back a little bit is nice. But it's good to be back out here, man, and playing with the team. You can still see that hunger still there.
Is there a different feel to this game week? The energy in practice undoubtedly felt a little bit, upped a little bit.
Like Coach has been saying, we're not going to ignore the fact that it's game day, big game, top 10 matchup, all that stuff. To ignore it, that's just being ignorant, right? We got to acknowledge it, but at the same time, it's just another game. We love that it's going to be, we know it's going to be electric here, and that's something that we can kind of count on to our advantage. But as far as preparation goes, it's the same thing. Back to the basics, understanding what we have to work on and what really it's the details. Like today's energy was great, yeah, but there's sometimes we were kind of slipping up in details and stuff, and so that's the stuff that is going to win us the games rather than just the energy. Yeah.
One thing we didn't ask at Arizona was you got to play outside corner for the first time in a hot minute. Not asking whether or not you'll do it again, but just to show that that's a club in your bag still, that you can go outside. What was that experience?
It wasn't necessarily me lining up at corner as much as it was just a matchup, man-to-man, so I was just out there. It was a little different. Felt kind of weird playing out there. Felt pretty good, though. Felt like I could still move a little bit. If I need to go play corner, I'll go play corner. But probably not in the game plan a ton. But, whoever got a matchup on, I will.
Where does DTR just stack up in just the level of quarterback you've played in your career? He's having a really big year so far.
Yeah, he's having a great year. Great quarterback. Can do a lot of things, presents a lot of challenges to us as a defense. But I feel like we've played a lot of pretty good quarterbacks this year, a lot of mobile quarterbacks. So we've been able to prepare. It's not something that we haven't seen, right? Gets the ball out quick and good completion percentage, makes good decisions. So like every week we want to confuse and attack the quarterback. Confuse his looks a little bit and hope for him to hesitate a little bit so we can get home.
To sort of piggyback on that, what is different about him compared to the other mobile quarterbacks that you guys have seen this year?
I wouldn't, without going too far into detail, real athlete, explosive athlete, likes to run, definitely a little chippy type of guy, but we embrace that. Got a great arm. Isn't always looking to home run, shot downfield, whether that's him or the offensive scheme. So we're gonna have to do a good job on them underneath throws and tackling. Definitely is a big thing.
Have you had any conversations with Chase Cota about some of UCLA's passing tendencies and some of the things that maybe to look for?
Yeah. I haven't talked to him a ton. That's one of my close friends, but I haven't talked to him a ton about it. Obviously, I think it's going to be a little different. They're probably going to give us some different looks, but as far as what he might know as compared to, the job our scouting personnel is doing on them and all their game breakdowns and stuff, I think our staff is doing a really good job of breaking that down. But if Chase got any tips, I'm open to hearing that.
What have you seen from UCLA's wide receivers this season, specifically on first down? They complete at a high rate.
They do. They look for holes and soft zones and stuff. Receivers are all pretty good. They got a couple. Obviously, they got Bobo, who came in, big, tall, physical guy. Good possession receiver. They got, Allen, number 19, little speedster. Cam out on the edge. So they got some guys that can. They're smart receivers. They know where to zone up and what to do. So it's the same thing. We got to be physical with them and hit them on those over the middle routes. They're going to complete a couple of them, but we want them to not be able to, want to keep doing that, right? With the way that we're physical.
You guys see the role in the, defending the rushing game this year. What does Zach Charbonnet present to you guys?
Say that again. What does
Zach Charbonnet present to you guys?
Oh yeah. He's a really good running back, big physical guy. That's probably the best running back I would think that we've seen, since this year. And yeah, he can do it all. So that's something that it's gonna challenge our tackling. We've done really well stopping the run, in the box so far, but this is a big test. Guys up front, we're gonna have to, tackle and rally to the tackle. There we go. Have guys, because it might not be the first guy that gets them down. So we're gonna have to have everybody running all 11 to the ball.
That's high praise to say he's the best running back in the league. What, from just a physical standpoint, leads you to believe that?
I've more meant that we've seen so far. He's one of the best in the league. I would agree with that. Just his physicality, the way he runs the ball. He's got great vision. And he doesn't go down easily off the first tackle, right? And that's something that a lot of I would say running backs, when this guy's hard to tackle, it's not something that you appreciate a ton, but yards after contact is a huge thing, especially if you get a team that's not rallying to the ball. It turns into a lot of extra yards. So that's something that we just have to do to make sure we limit it.
You said you spent Saturday kind of watching football, and you're not always able to do that. What kind of football watcher are you on a Saturday when you have time off? Like, are you very analytical, like a Verone maybe, or do you kind of just sit back and relax?
I tried to enjoy it and just relax and be a fan, but I couldn't help it, you know. And this year, it feels like my, you know, football IQ is heightened a lot. You know, being with Coach Lanning, Coach Lupoy, and Coach Pallage. And so that, from watching it from that point of view, it's fun, right? It's kind of like you get to break it down and see, oh, this motion, okay, I know this play is coming, and now you can predict it. It's like, it feels kind of good, but at the same time, you want to just be invested in the game, right, and soak it up like I'm just a dumb fan.
Bennett Williams excited about College Game Day, the team embracing the fact that College Game Day is going to be here on Saturday. Good to hear from Bennett Williams, going to be one of the many members of the secondary that's tested this weekend. Joined by the editor of GoDucks.com, Rob Moseley. Rob, don't hide what you got here. You got to be willing to show that. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. Good to talk to you. How are things? It's been a little while. You've been back on the Joey train the last few weeks. Has he been treating you well? All good on that front?
Yeah, it's sort of like getting the band back together when
Right.
he's back. Yeah, you know, he obviously had important fatherly duties to attend
Sure.
to, but I also, it feels like a little bit reunited, you know,
Yeah.
when he was back around. So that was nice. But it's good to see you as well.
Oh, very nice of you to say. Good to talk to you this week. You know, I thought you had an interesting tweet this week talking about.
Oh boy, this could go a lot of ways.
Yeah, come on, you're careful. You're a PR guy. You're careful on social media. Somebody to look up to. You talked about the environment of College Game Day here in Eugene, and we've seen some crazy atmospheres. For you, it starts with the pit crew and the student section setting that tone. I think it's good that game day is going to be on the quad. That's an easy walk for students to set that tone. But can you expand on that a little bit more? In your experience seeing so many game days in Eugene, why is that the case?
Well, I just think at the heart, what makes college athletics great is that it's played by and supported by college students, you know, who are just at this great time in their lives when they're just overflowing with enthusiasm and intensity and passion for, you know, everything they do. And eventually you get to be a grizzled old man like myself and you start to get cynical and all that. But these kids,
no, you'd never.
Fortunately, are not at that stage yet in their lives. No, seriously, yeah. I mean, that's it fuels everything. And this season has been so fun for a lot of reasons. One of them is the way the fan base as a whole, I think, has been energized by Dan Lanning's presence and by the performance of the team, and you know, Kenny Dillingham's offense and how entertaining that's been. And you can see it in Autzen Stadium for home games, and particularly the enthusiasm of the student section has just been something to behold the last couple home games, and I'm so happy for them. I mean, I think for one thing, obviously the team and its performance has really galvanized that group, but it just can't be overlooked that, you know, they spent 2 very important formative years of their lives cooped up because of COVID, and I just love that, you know, now they're getting a chance to go out and do all these things that, you know, probably when they were even younger, you know, grammar school, junior high, whatever, they watched, you know, game day and said, you know, even, you know, first couple years of high school, when I get to college, I can't wait to do that. And then got here and, oh, hey, we're actually going to need you to stay in your room for 2 years and do everything virtually. So, to be out, you know, in groups together, you know, obviously you still want to be smart and be vigilant and, you know, keep your health in mind, and it was fairly routine. Mm-hmm. And to be frank, we started to see that a little bit in some of the crowds that you sort of, you know, you can take it for granted, but you can't take this for granted. You have to embrace it. Game day doesn't just go to places that have great games. They go to places that have great atmospheres. Mm-hmm. So it's incumbent upon all of us to help foster that atmosphere and create it and make them want to come back again.
You alluded to it briefly. This is where I want to go next, the history of game day in Eugene. I want you to be a historian for a second.
Okay.
What are fans this year trying to live up to? What was the best game day atmosphere in Eugene, Oregon? What's going to be the second best environment ever after this weekend?
Wasn't game day here for Fright Night in 2009, that USC game? Yeah. That one sticks out a lot. Yeah, that whole day sticks out a lot. I mean, that was one of the most unforgettable days. I think, in the recent history of this program. So that's 13 years ago now. So that's when the reputation. That was probably only the 2000, a couple times in 2007. That was probably only like the third or fourth or fifth time game day had been here. So it was still kind of a fresh, new, different thing. In those years it was awesome. And then, by the time you get to 2012, it's come like 4 years in a row, and it was coming multiple times a year. And not quite as special. And so that, again, that's why I'm just so happy for this group that this is special. This feels special. I mean, the team earned this, the place has earned this. But, just like a football team, can't, the Oregon Ducks can't go to take the field Saturday thinking, hey, we're 5-1, we got this. No doubt. You have to attack each game with kind of a fresh mentality, and maybe it's kind of a clunky metaphor, but I think from a fan perspective, we all have to do that too when it comes to like embracing the game day experience. We can't just accept that they've checked the box on their list of Eugene being a cool place to come back to, so they just will. You have to kind of continually keep earning that. Just like a team's ranking, we kind of have to earn our ranking lest we risk falling down in those rankings.
Yeah, and I don't think this fan base necessarily needs any extra motivation to really bring it this weekend. But how about this? This feels like a really unique opportunity for the fan base to make a difference in a ball game. And we've seen that take place this year already. BYU comes to mind. That game got out of hand. I think the fans had something to do with it. But on the other side, UCLA hasn't played in an environment like this all season. They play in the Rose Bowl, which even for a big game against Utah a couple weeks ago, not exactly the loudest place to play. There's that fear factor for the Bruins, and I've listened to some of their talking heads and people within that program that have mentioned that as a huge key for them this week is to negate that environment and to communicate. Autzen Stadium could be almost like an extra player on the field for the Ducks this Saturday.
Yeah, I think, there would be something cool about playing every home game in the Rose Bowl because that venue is so special. But you could put 60,000 people in there, and it still might feel kind of sparse just because that place is so big. Basically the only time, most of the time, if we're experiencing it, not most of the time, but, the most memorable times, it's for the Rose Bowl game, and then it's packed, and the environment is just so awesome. But, you'd only have to thin that crowd out a little bit for it to start feeling pretty sparse because it's so gigantic. Autzen Stadium is much more intimate, much more right on top of you, a little more vertical. So you get that enhances that feeling of kind of the crowd being right on top of you. And, we have seen, I guess, a lot of games in recent memory, but, let's just talk about when game day was here in 2014, that Michigan State game. How much of a difference does that crowd make in that game? And again, it was one of those days where it felt like kind of all these things converged to make it just an amazing environment, an amazing day, and an unforgettable day. And you look back on some of the plays made that day, like that kind of improvisation by Marcus Mariota completing that little flipped pass out to Royce Freeman or Efo's diving interception to help clinch that one. And just that little bit of extra effort that those guys showed on those plays, those are amazing players who we got used to seeing doing amazing things. But you also wonder, when you have 60,000 people going nuts cheering for you, does that give you just that little extra edge too to make plays like that, and not dive for that interception and come up a little short, or try to flip that pass and just have it come out of your hand wrong? Just to be so locked in and focused and adrenalized and kind of meeting the moment that way. Crowds can, I think, be a factor in moments like that.
You mentioned just that little bit extra for a game like this. On that point, you have two teams who are coming into this game relatively healthy off of bye weeks. Talk about having a little bit extra in the tank. It's not like these teams are coming into this after a grueling schedule and on a short week. We should be seeing really high-quality football. And another point on that, the stars are going to be out to play. It feels like there are some storylines similar to when you mention a Marcus Mariota or a Royce Freeman, a Bo Nix, a Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a performance on national television could elevate them to that superstar level, maybe even get into the Heisman conversation.
No, I certainly think from our perspective, Bo Nix feels like the way he's performed belongs in some discussions that way. I don't know, not necessarily saying the top of the list yet, but belongs at least as a guy who's in those conversations and perhaps hasn't been getting the credit he's due. And I think part of that's the culture Coach Dan Lanning wants. I mean, he does, it's not elevating any individuals over the group, but when you're talking about the Heisman Trophy, it certainly is fun to have a guy included in that discussion. I'm interested to see how both teams handle that. I mean, what does each team's first possession look like? Are they, is their timing there because both teams are, we're playing so well before the bye, or does it take them a little bit of time to get going? There's two pretty good offensive minds going head to head. Right. How have they used these last 2 weeks? Are we going to see a whole bunch of new stuff on both sides? Obviously, I'm not going to recognize it if UCLA is a lot new. I've only kind of watched them very casually, but certainly from Oregon's perspective, it feels like we've seen kind of new, different wrinkles most weeks from Kenny Dillingham. So, has he been in the lab, creating some new wrinkles to throw out this week? We'll find out. But yeah, those are some things certainly to watch for, and particularly early.
I want your thoughts on one more thing. It feels to me like one of the themes for this Oregon season has been seeing weaknesses, addressing those weaknesses quickly.
For sure.
Against Stanford, 14 penalties. As an example, the next week they had only 6 penalties against Stanford. To me, if Saturday goes well, one of the weaknesses Oregon's going to address is third down defense. Dorian Thompson-Robinson leads the nation in completion percentage, which sets UCLA up for success on third down. They've had a lot of success. Has Oregon looked to address that third down stuff? Has that been a priority for the coaching staff this week?
Well, I mean, I think it kind of goes back to it's a similar theme to like the red zone issues in the first half at Washington State. I mean, every Wednesday, Dan Lanning comes off the field, heads into his post-practice scrum with the media and says, "Yep, third down red zone day." I mean, it's mostly every practice, but in particular on Wednesdays, it's a point of emphasis. And so always in situations like this, do you really want to make sure you're focused and you're honed in on correcting that? But you don't want to overcompensate too and let something slip. And that has been something that this team's been so good at is, 1 week it's, hey, let's get more explosive on offense. You do that. 1 week it's, let's cut down on penalties. You do that. 1 week it's, hey, we got to tackle better, and they do that. So they've done a really good job of, addressing areas like that without kind of going overboard and letting something else slip. Although I guess maybe if you looked at those different factors cropping up, maybe you could make an argument the other direction. But overall, I think we have seen, to your point off the top, week over week improvement. Does that guarantee it's going to happen this week? Certainly not. I mean, it's a great opponent. I do still think some of the third down stuff is skewed by certainly the Georgia game.
Yep.
I mean, it's not maybe it's mid-season. It's too late to say small sample size, but I mean that was just such an overwhelming performance on third down by Georgia's offense that day. And then the other thing is this team has been able to a couple different times this year, kind of work some guys into the rotation, some younger guys, get them experience. As Coach Lanning says, there's nothing like experience in terms of growth. So he's really tried when he can to get some younger guys some game experience because that'll so quicken their development. So then, maybe you're creating some opportunities where an opponent who's playing from behind can move the chains a couple more times than they would have otherwise. That's a stat that I kind of take with a couple different grains of salt for sure. That said, good teams get off the field on third down, and particularly, in a matchup like this, you don't want to allow a bunch of sustained drives. We know what Chip Kelly, the way he can use tempo, and he can wear you down, and the effect that can have over the course of a game. So, it's to me that as a kind of a storyline, as a narrative, I feel like that's kind of grown out of proportion to some other areas. This team could also serve to address. But that's not to discount it in any way. I mean, you definitely want to get off the field on third down.
He's Rob Moseley, editor of GoDucks.com. He'll have you covered on GoDucks.com the remainder of the week for some coverage getting you ready. Rob, thanks for the time.
You got it.
See you on Saturday. You going to be out there at game day 2, sleeping in?
I'll be at soccer tomorrow and volleyball Friday, so I might see you sooner.
Okay, I'll see you sooner.
All right.
Rob Moseley joining us. Matt Ulmer after the break on Duck Insider. It's the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by UnPoint Community Credit Union, joined by the head coach of Oregon Volleyball before a big homestand, a big weekend in Eugene for all 3 programs right now, volleyball, soccer, and the football game on Saturday. Coach, good to see you again. It's been a little while. I missed you.
Missed you.
Yeah.
You look good.
You look good.
You look younger.
I don't know why that is. It haircut?
No, maybe just, little
Is that
time
a
away,
compliment?
from here, rejuvenizes you.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly what it is.
I think that's why Joey looks so old.
Yeah, that guy's really old.
I think so.
Yeah.
He looks at least 15 years older than what his license says, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he knows that.
The joke is that he's the old man in the group. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, especially his
So I didn't tell you guys
personality.
anything you didn't know.
Well, especially his personality. I think he's proud of it.
He says old soul. He said,
yeah, he's an old soul. You know, he's in some random hotel lobby drinking scotch all the time. He's just an old soul. That's what he likes to do at this time.
What'd you say about Minnesota? What were they known for? That's what I just got a vibe of that again. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Meatballs, Swedish meatballs or something.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was?
So I guess the trip to LA.
Still,
did you
I have nightmares about that.
Did you guys get any poke bowls down in Los Angeles? What
is that? What you
Mexican food?
Is that what your LA is? You think?
I think so. I'm from LA, so I feel like I got
Where? Like actual LA or not really?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I know. I say I'm from Chicago.
LA County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we? Probably some people did.
What'd you have?
Mexican food and what
go.
else? I actually had dinner with my dad, like at home one night. That was nice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we have family there.
That's great.
Yeah, it was good. We had a lot of family, everybody. So we had one night after, I think Saturday night, everybody could go out and see their people, and I think that was good for everybody.
Yeah, that's good. And then, you come back on Sunday after that Saturday, and you come through with, I think, an important win over the course of this season. Some close losses, 3 in a row against some of the top teams in the conference. Could have gone either way, it felt like, in all of them. But then you end this road trip with a win against UCLA, and more importantly, the team came through. It felt like as the match progressed, what was the meaning of that UCLA win? Now coming back home, trying to build on that one.
Yeah, I thought with, the Washingtons, we did a lot of things well, and we just couldn't execute enough, especially in the fifth sets. And then SC, felt the same way. Our offense was really high level. I think we hit like 333 for the match, which is a great number. But our service pressure, again, was just non-existent, and I thought very similar to the weekend before. And, so we just had a really hard time stopping them. And then Skylar Fields from USC was just excellent and gave us fits. And then just carrying that over to UCLA, again, fourth really good match in a row on the road. It felt the same way, up until about the third set. We were down really big in the third. We found a way to win the second in a tight one. And then I thought Brooke Nuneviller went back to the service line, and we finally got some sort of confidence from the service line with her. And then Elisa Gee followed that up right away, and then Daly McClellan. And all of a sudden it just like snowballed. And It's like, oh, we all remember how to serve again. And that was huge. And then, our block got set up. And now, hey, we're playing defense like we normally do. And then our offense was, still really good from Elise Ferrer. So I thought that we really needed that in that third set, and Brooke started for us, and then I think everybody followed suit.
Yeah, felt like it kind of clicked into place once that happened.
It was very strange.
Yeah.
USC was very strange. It's been very strange.
Well, I thought it was strange that the team
I know you don't want to talk about USC, which I think that was nice of you, but you can't just ignore it.
Yeah, we'll mention it. It's been acknowledged.
We like the wins.
Now,
I know that.
And now let's move on to the Bruins.
Yeah.
It was weird to me that this team was having service issues because normally they're so strong at that.
Yeah.
How did the team push through that? What did you do as a coach? Was it the
group
rallying
I begged
together?
A lot of begging, pleading. prayer life was really strong. Just trying to see. It was strange. It was I don't know. Like we are, I think, a very good serving team. In practice, we're excellent. At home, we've been pretty good. Even earlier in the season, like at Minnesota, in some of those environments, we served really well. I don't know. It was it felt like a little bit of a mental block. It was very strange, and it felt like it just was contagious throughout. So it's just one of those things where I stopped. I'm the one calling service zone, so I can take all the blame. And I normally I'm very specific in what we're doing, and then everybody was kind of freaking out. So I was like, okay. And then it got to where I got more general, and then that didn't work. And then I just stopped making eye contact, to see if maybe that'll help. That didn't work. Then I went back to specifics, still didn't work. So I was like, okay, well then this is gonna be tough. And then we got through it, but it was a little mental block there, which I really haven't seen from any of our teams. But again, it was really important for us to have that run in the third, I think, and kind of get us back into some sort of rhythm, and then we could finally play some defense.
Yeah. I want to ask you about a particular moment. So there's a great picture up on GoDucks.com right now following the UCLA win, and I just want to pull this up if we can for a second. You have the whole team celebrating. You're going nuts in the background as well. Take me back to this moment. What were some of the emotions that you were feeling and the team was feeling in this moment? Because to me,
relief, I think. Just utter relief. No, I think that was from match point.
Match point.
Yeah. So
okay.
I think we came back, and again, I mean the fourth and fifth set I thought we were pretty dominant against UCLA, and we had a stretch. I think it was like a 12-2 run or something like that at the end of the third. So we played 2.5 really good sets that I think we had been kind of having that rhythm before we went on the road. So it was just nice to get back. It's hard because we're doing everything really well. We're just we weren't winning enough. And so some of those things were against us, and so it was nice to see us pull through, and just really proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely, because
and it wasn't relief. I was joyful too. It was it's both.
You lose the first set against USC. You see how the rest of the match goes. You can't quite claw back in that one. You lose the first set against UCLA. You do claw back. So in a way, maybe it is relief. We're pushing through these service issues and getting ready for the second half of the season. It's a long season, and this team's still getting better. That felt like a big moment.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I was half joking about relief, but I really do think I think we're a very good volleyball team. I think we do a lot of things really well. I have so much confidence in our group. That's why it was weird to see us struggle because that's not normal for us. I was really impressed that within the struggle, we were able to turn it around. And I think that says a lot about our group. We always fight back. I mean, all year, that's how it's been for us. Even when it's not going well, we just keep going, and we find ourselves having an opportunity to win. Even some we have, some we haven't. But I really liked seeing that happen at UCLA, and I hope that, puts us on a good path forward.
Yeah, so preview this weekend for me. 2 matches against 2 potential NCAA tournament teams. What are you looking for your group?
Yeah, I think both are. Utah and Colorado, I think, are both in the tournament. They both have some really dynamite players, but they play really good team volleyball. What am I looking? I'm looking for us to play Oregon volleyball. I'd like to see a packed crowd. Again, it's going to be a great weekend in Eugene. I hope everybody floods on in. And is there for soccer and volleyball and football and game day and togas I see, and I just went and got donuts. Don't tell my wife. And I think I'm at Busy Jeans at Jeans. I don't know if I can. I'm not plugging that. I'm just saying I got a donut. Okay. And so Gene, where am I going with this? Is that what you're saying? Oh, they're in the car. Well, I have kids.
You didn't bring them for the group.
There's not enough. But so what I'm saying is that Gene was just saying that there's an order for like 100. I forget how many, like 144 dozen boxes of donuts, and I'm assuming it's for the toga party. So I think, you could go to soccer, go to volleyball, and then you wake up, get a sugar high, and then, your toga partying football. And it's just going to be what a weekend.
What a weekend.
So I'm looking forward to that. And then, us just playing some of our best volleyball this weekend.
Love it. Coach, thanks for being here with us. We got Friday, 6 o'clock against Utah, Sunday at noon against Colorado. Get out to Matthew Knight Arena. Going to be a great weekend all around Oregon athletics. Appreciate your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's get a break. We'll come back with more content here. It's Duck and Cider.
Chocolate Long Johns, that's what I prefer. Yeah.
Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Back here in the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. You know, a couple Oregon men's basketball players spoke to the media. Was it this week? Maybe late last week? I'm not sure. Rivaldo Soares was one of them. He was a player last year who provided a lot of size and was a spark throughout the season until at the very end of the season it became an integral part of the rotation. He's looking to build on that into this year and have an even bigger season. He spoke with the media and had some interesting things to say.
How's the offseason been for you, man?
It's been a really good offseason. I've enjoyed my time with the team. I feel like our team's really gelling together. Guys are coming together, getting healthier. We had a whole summer together. Canada trip was fantastic for us. It was a way to, a little preview to the season. So it was good. It's good.
What's different year one at this time to now for you?
I just say being assertive. Last year coming into it, just learning, a lot of doubts, a lot of thinking. This year I'm just playing freely, and just trusting coach, believing in the team philosophies, just really trying to play hard.
When Quincy got here, he was kind of trying to transition from more of a post player at Syracuse into a perimeter guy, and he's obviously come a long way. I'm curious, you've been here with him now. Like, at this point now, how much farther ahead is he on the perimeter specifically, do you think, last year?
He should play the wing for us this year, so that shows the jump he's made and his work in the summer, and he's come a long way, trying to get healthy too. Because last year I don't think he was with us until maybe right before the season started. So some time under his belt, and he's been putting in some work.
As someone who transferred into this program, how can you help guys like Tyrone and Brennan and other transfers in the team kind of get used to the program and ingratiate themselves with the team?
Coming from a JUCO, it's easy to relate, because he can look right at me and relate with me, and I'm trying to educate him every day. And it's hard at times because they're new guys, but we're trying our best as a team to give our tips when we can. And yeah, he's doing well though.
How do you find the impact a healthy Dante has for you guys on both ends of the floor?
Inexplicable. Dante is a hell of a player, and the work he puts in, like, everybody just kind of gels around Dante in a sense, like we're looking for Dante. Like, we know he's a monster down there, and he's been getting better with his jump shot and everything, getting healthier. You could just see it in his legs. They're coming back, and he's going to have a great impact on our team.
How much can that help Kalel and just his development? I mean, I'm sure he might get frustrated at times, but knowing that he's going against a guy much older, bigger than he is.
And we get on Kalel too, but that's what he needs. He might not play another big better than Dante, so that's just going to get him going, get him better every day. Playing against Dante every day that's a battle. And he's been getting better. Every day we see it, little steps.
The program's identity has really been defined on the defensive side under Dana. At times last year you guys had it, at times last year, a bit of a struggle. What have you seen so far this first month of practice to kind of get that back and to have that communication and have that level of efficiency on defense?
We've been trying to really fall on what coach is saying. Like, just don't care about the offense, but let's get it on defense first. Let's not rely everything on the offensive end when we can go and get the stops ourselves. Defense wins championships. We've all heard it before. Our goal this year is to be top 30 in defense, top 15 in defense, and that takes a lot of work. And I feel like we have a great group of guys who want to play defense, who are capable of playing defense. We have a bunch of athletes everywhere, and should definitely make some noise on the defensive end this year if we lock in.
What do you think your role is on this team this year?
My role, I try to do everything, trying to help the young guys, trying to be a leader. If my shot's there, I'm trying to hit my shots. It's just everything on the floor. If it's in front of me, that's my role. Do everything. I said it before, jack of all trades, and I really believe that for myself. And I'm going to do everything I can.
Basketball's kind of positionless now anyway, but you kind of even today, I think, went between like the 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Do you feel you have a natural position? Do you have a home position?
Not at all. I feel like I'm just a guy that you got to have on the floor. I love being out there. It doesn't matter what position I 1 through 4. I can guard the 5. Like, in my head, I'm confident enough in my abilities, and no positionless.
Follow the source speaking with the media, a guy who's going to be a big part of the rotation this year. I think he's going to take a jump this year, second year at this Division I level. I think that can make a real difference for a player. He's starting to grow into his own in his college basketball career. Let's get a break. We'll come back and get you some final thoughts, getting you ready for game day. 70 hours, 37 minutes remain. We'll see you in the quad and at Autzen this weekend. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back here inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Seeing a comment here on Facebook from Patrick Pine saying Bennett Williams could have a future as a broadcaster. Great voice, well-spoken, knowledgeable, nice personality on air. I couldn't agree more. There's a reason why we've heard from him so many times during media availabilities this year. I think the coaching staff views him as a well-spoken guy, agrees with everything you're saying, Patrick. That's cool. Talking about on-air personalities, it's going to be a big week for kickers on air. Tonight on the coaches show, by the way, 7:05. We'll see you then. Jerry and Jorgie got you covered for that. We're going to hear from Camden Lewis and learn a little bit more about his story. Also, it's game day, so Pat McAfee going to be in Eugene on Saturday, another kicker who's an all-star when it comes to sports media. Pretty cool week. And, we got a lot more coming. Remember, 7:05 tonight for the coaches show. We'll be back on air for Duck Insider tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Talk to you then. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Gabriel directing, Scott, Alex, everybody in the studio, Mitchell. Go Ducks, everybody.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself.